What is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. And on this night, NXT took over the Staples Center and gave us WarGames. And as the dust is most likely still settling right now in Los Angeles, you could be sure of one thing. You just watched a damn near perfect wrestling show, and we are going to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's NXT TakeOver WarGames review and reaction show right here on Sledgehammer TV. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, NXT fans, thank you so much for joining me. You gotta believe that the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, is smiling down upon NXT tonight. After what they gave us, he has got to be one proud man up in the sky right now. I cannot even tell you how much I enjoyed this journey into the War Games that we had tonight. We were treated to a great wrestling match. We saw a fantastic fight, and then this thing ended with one hell of a war, a match that definitely lives up to the moniker of WarGames. WarGames has a tremendous legacy, you guys. It goes back a long way, and these guys, these 8 men tonight, did that legacy proud. Maybe gave us the very best WarGames match you have ever witnessed on a show that just might be able to claim the very same thing. This might be the very best NXT TakeOver event ever, if not for the few little points that I have to bring the hammer down on tonight. This show, like I said, was damn near perfect. But most of you guys that watch me probably know how we are going to kick off this show. If you watch my NXT coverage before, you know that there's just something that I don't understand about the fascination with Matt Riddle. Obviously, if you're a Matt Riddle person and you know of Matt Riddle from his earlier days in his career, if you followed his MMA career, you're a big fan. You are going to love what happened tonight as Matt Riddle made a surprise NXT TakeOver debut in an impromptu match against Cassius Ohno that lasted about 6.5 seconds. And I'm still left with the same impression that I get right off the bat. I don't know him. I don't have this undying fandom of him. So the WWE bringing him in, NXT specifically, bringing him in and just giving him all this attention, bro. You know, it's the bro show, and I don't know anything about this bro show. I'm not into his whole delivery, how he talks, that very cool, laid-back, kind of new age Rob Van Dam thing he's kind of going with. I just don't get it. I don't see the appeal just yet. And if you're gonna continue to give me 6-7 second long matchups where he executes one stiff knee to the jaw of some guy and then the match is over before it's even begun, I'm not interested. That's not my style of wrestler. I see people on social media, oh, Matt Riddle's got to be the guy to retire Brock Lesnar. And I see other people saying, oh, well, you got to book Matt Riddle that way because he can be a viable contender to Brock Lesnar. What are you people talking about? What are you people talking about? Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about in this case, and that's absolutely fine. You guys feel free to let me know in the comments section how you guys feel about Matt Riddle. It's not my bag, baby. I'm not with the bro just yet. He needs to show me something. His initial match on NXT was just an average match. He didn't do anything that spectacular there. I figured this being an NXT TakeOver debut, it wasn't going to be just an absolute annihilation and complete squash and pretty much burial of one Cassius Ohno. A guy that feels to me like that 12th grade guy, you know, the guy in senior year, right, that just can't graduate and he just keeps getting left back. year after year after year. He's just that senior, that perennial senior that just can't graduate, man. He's this close to graduating, and then he just don't make the head of the class, and he's stuck just getting older and getting bigger and doing nothing while everybody else is moving on to bigger, better things. This guy can't even make it on to an NXT TakeOver match now without getting squashed in 6 seconds. So I wouldn't want to be Cassius Ohno right now. I wouldn't want to be Matt Riddle, only because I just don't get it. I don't get it. He does not appeal to me. I apologize if that bothers you, but that's how I call things, man. I don't sugarcoat things, and when I see something that I don't like, I'm going to tell you. I don't necessarily not like Matt Riddle. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And this was a whole waste of time. Time that could have very much been better spent being added to the 2 out of 3 falls match for Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, I have a little bit of a problem with this matchup as well. Not so much that Shayna Baszler retained the championship. It's more along the lines of how they booked this match and how it all transpired. Now, immediately, as the horsewomen approached the ring and got involved at the very beginning of this match, Marina Shafir, Jessamine Duke coming out, helping out Shayna Baszler, causing a distraction, allowing Shayna Baszler to wrap up a very quick first fall on Kairi Sane by wrapping her up in her submission maneuver, getting her to tap out very quickly. Now, here's where things kind of get iffy with me. Now, during the second fall, Kairi Sane was able to prove herself formidable as one person. She took out the 2 girls on the outside by herself. She had the match firmly in control. She delivers the insane elbow drop from the top rope and gets the match even at 1 fall apiece as she scored the pinfall on Shayna Baszler. Now things get even more ridiculous to me, because while I enjoyed the debut of Io Shirai coming out to help her best friend, and the arrival of Dakota Kai, I guess I should be excited about, maybe, I don't know. Io Shirai coming out was the big deal during the third fall, and then I just don't agree with Kairi Sane hitting the elbow drop for a second time successfully and ending up getting rolled up in a flash surprise pinfall, to which, if you look closely, and at least I thought I've seen her shoulder come up off the mat at least twice. Now, the referee was not in position to see this accurately, and I understand hopefully this is the way they go forward with this, but I don't understand why they went with it that way. You kind of killed off the insane elbow. You know, that's the second time she was hit with that. I thought they would be protective of that move and a little bit more protective of Kairi Sane. And if she was able to fend off the horsewomen on her own and successfully get a pinfall, having her friends come out to help her definitely didn't help her, because she ended up losing the match anyway. Now, like I said, I don't so much mind her losing the match as it just doesn't make sense. This booking to me was a little bit overdone. It kind of has that familiar scent of that Monday Night Raw, that main roster feel. Maybe that's just because of the 3-on-3 dynamic. We've seen it so many times that it just almost felt out of place seeing it on an NXT. And Shayna Baszler definitely survived this match thanks to the involvement of her friends being on the outside. But in the end, they had nothing to do with the final decision, and Shayna Baszler gets a surprise pinfall roll-up in a match that I thought was way too short. You had 3 falls to tell a story, and it seemed like they just didn't give it adequate time. I know the other matches that needed to follow definitely used their time properly and were given time to dominate the show. But if you take away that whole Matt Riddle segment, if you take away the entrance times for both guys, whatever was said in the middle of the ring, you could have added a good 10 minutes to this match, maybe 2 or 3 minutes to each fall, and allow it to gel a little bit more organically, and have the crowd maybe actually pop for Io Shirai before she did that absolutely beautiful moonsault. It was picture perfect. She soared through the air like the queen of the sky that they want to say she is, and it was a beautiful thing to see. And then she had everybody out on the outside. Kairi Sane delivers the insane elbow, lands it flush in the chest of Shayna Baszler, and then Kairi Sane gets pinned. I didn't like how that match turned out. I'm not Unhappy about the future, though, as we have these other women now coming into the fold. NXT, we are going to have maybe Io Shirai challenging Shayna Baszler at some point. Is her friendship with Kairi Sane going to stay a friendship? Are we going to see Kairi Sane versus Io Shirai at some point down in NXT? The possibilities are endless. I was hoping maybe for Shayna Baszler to lose, mostly to see her and Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir called up to the main roster. Whether the other two are ready or not it doesn't matter to WWE's main roster at this point, but I wanted them to be called up so that they could maybe elevate Ronda Rousey and get her where she needs to be, and then they could do the 4 horsewoman clash somewhere down the line this year, maybe by WrestleMania. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I would like to have seen that move forward, but obviously with Baszler being the champ, continuing her second reign as NXT Women's Champion, that's definitely not going to happen anytime soon. Now, after these 2 segments were over, the rest of this night was absolutely balls out, 100% the reason why you watch professional wrestling. As a wrestling fan, it is a show like this that you point to tell everybody, listen, this is why you watch professional wrestling. This is why the WWE has the potential to be great. This is what we keep looking for the future. This is why we keep looking towards the future. When Triple H takes control or even just has a little bit more influence, he doesn't even have to be in charge. He just needs to have a more prominent role, a more definite say, and we will start to see more things like this in the WWE. NXT gave us 4 matches. I'll include the women's match because it wasn't a bad match. I just didn't agree with the way it went down. 4 matchups that, as I said in the prediction show, absolutely took your breath away. I didn't even think, I know the caliber of a Johnny Gargano and an Aleister Black. I did not think I would see a match to the level that they put on this night. What a dramatic tale, and it was told absolutely beautifully. Johnny Gargano as this very dark, broody Johnny Takeover. He definitely proved to be Johnny Takeover, even though he was not able to take out the devil in Aleister Black tonight, as Black gets a very dramatic and very hard-fought win over Johnny Gargano. He earns the moniker of Johnny Takeover. He has the most Takeover appearances, and he is just absolutely the best wrestler in NXT right now. Aleister Black is too. Aleister Black is a little spotty at times. He misses his kicks and stuff like that, misses a few spots. But on this night, this man was absolutely flawless. This match was flawless. It was so up and down, back and forth. The brutality that was showcased in this match would set the tone for the rest of the evening, and I even said on Twitter that that match was a masterclass in professional wrestling. They use all of the backstory within the match itself. Johnny Gargano trying to rub it in the face of Aleister Black by delivering the Black Mass kick, trying to deliver the Black Mass kick himself. It was just absolutely one of the finest professional wrestling matches you will ever see. And this is one of the reasons, this NXT TakeOver specifically, I could point to as one of the reasons why I don't like to review NXT for the most part, because you watch these matches that so much happens in. And all I can remember throughout the entirety of the night is me just screaming, "Oh my God! Oh my God! What was that? This was amazing!" Echoing the sentiments of the NXT universe. This is wrestling. This is awesome. What the hell did we get treated to on this night? It's so hard to describe. I can't sit here and just write every single move down one after the other what they did. The intensity and the theme and the feel of this match. You could feel the desire for Johnny Gargano to want to win. He had the Gargano escape locked in on Aleister Black multiple times, almost getting the victory on many occasions. There were so many near falls, not only in this match, but in the final 3 matchups. I don't want to count to 3 ever again in my life. That's the kind of show we had on this night. At one point, Gargano, as he had Aleister Black wrapped up, he was screaming, "I'm a hero! I'm the hero! This is my moment!" And it was just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful to see a match like that. It's what we are starving for when we watch shows like Raw and SmackDown. It is what makes wrestling great. Two guys that are very experienced, that know their craft and love and respect professional wrestling and have the passion to go out there and lay into each other the way these two guys laid into each other, pulling out all the stops, leaving no stone unturned. Aleister Black ends up delivering 2 Black Mass kicks flush to the chin of Johnny Takeover and then absolves him of all his sins before he lays him out for the 3 count. Aleister Black getting the win, positioning himself firmly in the number 1 contender spot, if you ask me, which is going to lead us down a path to see Aleister Black take on the NXT champion, who remained NXT champion at War Games, as the Velveteen Dream went one-on-one with the champion, Tommaso Ciampa, and the dream is over. And I say that in the most positive way. The Dream is probably one of the best stars in all of NXT's history as far as development, as far as athleticism. From where he's come from day one to now, you can see that the Velveteen Dream is another one of the names you can call out and say is the future of professional wrestling. Even in a loss tonight to Tommaso Ciampa in what could be described as one of the most brutal fights you will ever see. This was not as much of a wrestling match as this one was a flat-out brawl between two guys, and Ciampa was defending the honor of Goldie with every ounce of his stone-cold black heart, and he was not going to relent. This guy took everything that the Velveteen Dream could possibly dish out. He was hit with 2 Dream Valley drivers, one on the outside to the exposed concrete on the ringside floor. It was an intense affair. These guys went crashing over the announce table, just taking everything to the limit. Stiff shots. Ciampa on multiple occasions ramming his injured knee with the brace intact right into the face of the Velveteen Dream. At one point, Dream looked like he was absolutely knocked out cold. Ciampa playing around, making all kinds of weird gestures, just mind games on top of the Dream. Dream doing the same and doing his absolute best to try to stay on top of Ciampa, and on many occasions he did. But this matchup for the Dream, to me, I think was just a love letter to the legends of professional wrestling. Some of the moves rather, that this guy was pulling out on this night as he came out dressed like Hollywood Hulk Hogan and looking good doing so. I thought he kind of looked like a mashup of Hollywood Hogan and Dennis Rodman from back in the day, not just because of his being an African American, but just because Rodman used to dress himself as Hogan, and they just looked very similar to me, with the glasses and the boa and the everything and the hair sticking out of the thing. But it was a great visual. He looked absolutely fantastic. This guy understands professional wrestling probably better than all of us sitting here listening to me talk. I know Patrick Clark has one of the best wrestling minds in the business, and like I said, this little tribute as he went through a laundry list of Legends moves. We saw him do Ric Flair's figure 4 leg lock. We seen him do Shawn Michaels' running forearm followed by the kip up combination. We seen him do the ring post figure 4 that Bret the Hitman Hart used to do. He went to the top rope on a couple of occasions to pay tribute to the Macho Man Randy Savage, and we seen him all throughout the match pulling out the moves of the Hulkster, the Hollywood Hulkster, with the big boot and multiple bionic leg drops to try to wrestle away Goldie from Tommaso Ciampa, but that would not be the case. Ciampa was beating the Velveteen Dream so bad at one point he had a strand of spit just hanging from his mouth. It was gross. It was absolutely disgusting, and Ciampa would take his bastard hand and just wipe that spit up and rub it all into the Dream's own face. It was a crazy visual to see. Tommaso Ciampa is just a dastardly son of a bitch. He showed that every moment he could on this night. Finally, as I said, this guy took the best that the Velveteen Dream had to offer. Velveteen Dream connected with the purple Rainmaker elbow. Everybody in Los Angeles thought the dream was about to become true for Velveteen, and Champa still kicked out. He kicked out of everything, man. I don't know what Tommaso Ciampa is made of, but this man is inhuman, as he was able to withstand the best that the Velveteen Dream could bring and then deposit the dream head first into that middle steel connection piece that combined the two rings into one, which we would see used a lot more in the War Games match, which we are about to talk about. But the Dream, even in a loss, definitely once again puts himself over, makes himself the thing everybody's talking about on this night. The Velveteen Dream, the next big thing in all of professional wrestling, and he proved it to you guys tonight. What's next for the champ, Tommaso Ciampa? Aleister Black is probably going to be the next in line to take on the Blackheart, but that does not mean Johnny Gargano's role in this thing is over just yet. We seen Gargano in that matchup pay tribute to DIY, setting up to do his old DIY maneuvers, but he did not execute it successfully. However, is that a little bit of a tease? Are we going to see what I talked about in the prediction show? Maybe some sort of a pairing again of an evil DIY with Ciampa and Gargano back on the same page, both of them just leading the dark side into a whole new level of darkness, and I would totally be into that, as Gargano could help Aleister Black lose. I'm sorry, help. The better way to say that would have been could help Tommaso Ciampa keep his title and not lose to Aleister Black at the next takeover, if that is in fact the road we begin to go on for the NXT title, as it stays where it belongs and Goldie stays with her man, Tommaso Ciampa. This match was fantastic. Like I said, these two matchups, one right after the other, made me feel like I was already exhausted just from watching these guys do their things. And then we had the War Games. My God, you guys, maybe the best War Games we have ever witnessed to this day. I loved the going back to the 4 versus 4 format instead of the very odd 3 teams of 3 from last year. We get the traditional, more retro style 4-on-4 team ups, and this played out absolutely beautifully. It was calculated chaos throughout the entirety of the match for the Undisputed Era, as they were using their brains and using that one-man advantage to the best of their ability. Absolutely flawlessly executed and very well planned by the Undisputed Era, going into this war with a clear-cut battle plan to try to come out on top in the end. We've seen so much great stuff in this match, it was hard to even keep track of. Everybody had a shining moment in this match, if not multiple shining moments in this match. Not just the durability and the dastardly tricks of the Undisputed Era when they brought all the chairs in the ring by the end of this thing, locking Pete Dunne in the cage when he was the final one left with a second lock, and then throwing the key into the crowd just to delay Pete Dunne from getting into that ring as long as they possibly could. And the best part I think about the War Games format, what makes it so dramatic and what makes it such a crazy thing, is that the match doesn't begin after about 30 minutes of the fight ensuing on the inside. These guys that were battling it out before Pete Dunne was able to finally get in that ring just were killing each other for a damn near half an hour. And it was brutality at its finest. Professional wrestling inside a cage done right. An absolutely great tribute back to the original days of the War Games. Like I said, Dusty Rhodes and the Legion of Doom and any of those who came before that stepped foot inside of a War Games definitely is proud of what these guys put on tonight. Think about what we saw from Ricochet tonight. Ricochet was bouncing all over that place like it was a parkour playground. And then he definitely took everybody's breath away and almost stole the show in one fell swoop with that 630 senton splash from the top of the cage, taking out the entire field of guys left in the ring. Absolute thing of beauty. Hanson, War Raider Hanson, this guy is probably auditioning to get onto 205 Live with the way this big man's flipping around in the ring. He's doing a springboard from the second ring to the first ring, off the rope, through a table, absolutely crushing the sternum of Kyle O'Reilly, exploding through the table. He's doing handspring, double back elbows. This guy is an absolute beast. I keep saying absolute, and I gotta stop doing that because it's even starting to annoy me, and I hope it's not annoying you. But this is what this show was. There is no doubt, which makes it an absolute, that this was one of the best shows of the whole entire year. Some of the other things we've seen in this matchup: the 7-man Tower of Doom, something you have never seen before. We had Adam Cole draped over the top of the steel cage with his legs hanging over to the other side of the cage towards the fans on the arena. He had 2 people locked up. I believe it was Bobby Fish and maybe, you know, I don't remember because all the bodies just melded together. It was like all the wrestlers came together into Voltron and then just collapsed. Boom! Thanks to the power of War Raider Hanson. Again, he had Kyle O'Reilly, and they took the whole tower of guys, man. 5 guys balancing on the top rope, leaning against the cage, all taken down in a Tower of Doom. It was a thing of beauty. Fantastic. Absolutely great. Ricochet and Pete Dunne win this matchup for their team, and they both won this matchup. Usually one person gets the pinfall, but they both got the pinfall as Pete Dunne would execute a bitter end to Adam Cole, which would be followed by a 450 splash from Ricochet, and both of them draped their exhausted bodies across the half-dead carcass of Adam Cole and got the victory for their team tonight in a War Games that needs to be seen to be believed. There is not one word that I could tell you guys about this match that will do it any sort of justice. It's just one of those things you have got to witness. If you missed tonight's War Games, go watch it right now. Watch it before you watch Survivor Series, or if you want, you can wait and hold off if you haven't seen it yet. I know I just told you all the results, but you will still enjoy it fully because the quality of the wrestling is what it's all about, and this was one of the finest nights of wrestling that we have had in some time. Go check it out. Maybe cleanse your wrestling soul after we have to watch tomorrow night's Survivor Series, which isn't shaping up to be so bad. I'm not looking forward to any of these traditional Survivor Series matchups, which hurts my soul because those are my favorite matchups of the year, but they put no thought and no effort behind it. You want to know more about my thoughts on that, you can check out the Survivor Series predictions and preview show, which is up on the channel live right now. But most importantly, make sure you are here tomorrow night for the Survivor Series review, as the hammer is going to come down much harder than it came down tonight. We were happy tonight, man. They gave us the very best that they had in NXT, and that's why I love the gold and black being led by the king of sledgehammers himself, the man that I named this podcast after, Triple H, just leading the charge and bringing the future, bringing it hard. War Games, man. It was just freaking awesome. Just awesome. Thank you guys all so very much for being here with me tonight. Don't forget to take advantage of all of the things we got going on. A couple of ways you can support the channel. We all already know about Audible. Audible is offering fans of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show a 30-day free trial membership and 1 free audiobook just for being a fan of this show and checking out their audiobook service. Over 180,000 titles to choose from, including some of the wrestling titles you see before your eyes right now on the screen. Go to audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv today to redeem that free book. Try the service for 30 days. If you don't like it, cancel and still keep that book. How amazing is that? And for the first time ever, in celebration of 1,000 subs and Black Friday's arrival for 2018, Black Friday comes early, and right now you can go to teespring.com/stores/sledgehammer-tv. That's a mouthful to say. You can see the address written on the screen there for you, or you can click the link in the description box below to visit the store. Use the discount code SLEDGE10 and receive 10% off Sledgehammer TV merchandise. Go show your support, get your colors now, and take advantage of the Black Friday sale, as Black Fridays come early on Sledgehammer TV. This sale will be running all week long, especially on Black Friday itself. It will continue throughout the weekend into Cyber Monday, and we will be reminding you guys on every single show this week. Make sure to pick that up right now. Two great ways to continue your support of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, but the most important way to support the show is to hit that subscribe button right now. We hit our 1K, and I love all 1,005 of you that we have reached, but we need to keep infecting the rest of the world and get them to come where the hammer swings strong and the wrestling talk is true, and we have a whole lot of fun talking here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So if you are still with us at this half-an-hour mark and you enjoyed tonight's show and you are planning to be with us tomorrow, hit that subscribe button right now and ding that bell that sits next to it, that notification bell. Become one of the notification squad so that you know immediately when that video goes live, and you can check it out at your leisure. And then on this video and on every video you decide to watch, always make sure to bash that thumb, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you let me know you enjoyed this show. Let the whole entire world know you enjoy what we bring to you here on this channel, and that is the best way to do so. And then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they were floored by tonight's NXT TakeOver WarGames. Maybe you guys can help me describe the show a little bit better, huh? Maybe you can leave some comments down in the comments section below. Let me know what your favorite moment of tonight was. Let me know what you're looking forward to in the future on NXT, and maybe what you might have been disappointed by. As I told you guys what disappointed me, let me know what disappointed you. That's what the comment section is there for. Be sure you are following us on Twitter at Nick Nightmare is the handle. We're also on Instagram at Nick_Nightmare. You can follow us over there. Not too active on that unless there's wrestling stuff going on, and we are about to hit the season where we are going to be back at House of Glory. We are going to be going to live events, so it's going to be something you want to be doing in the future. So check out the Instagram account. Check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, all one word, and you can follow us over there. All the best ways to keep tabs on the best wrestling show on all of YouTube, The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Thank you all so very much once again to all the new subscribers. You guys made this week one of the best weeks of my life. Let's continue that momentum and get that train rolling so that we can hit 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. Let's get there as quick as possible and continue to take over the world as we bring the hammer down on the world of professional wrestling. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is my team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the wrestling god of thunder, and the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. And his tag team partner, the world heavyweight champion of all the microphones in all the world, the only champion that matters that will not be in the Survivor Series match tomorrow, Mr. Blue, the snowball microphone. We are so pleased to be here with you each and every time we fire up this camera for Sledgehammer TV. That, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, and we'll see you tomorrow night for the Survivor Series. Go SmackDown!